What's happening, everybody? So I have been sitting here for like 3 or 4 hours now collecting a list of things I want for emergency situations, living in a van, traveling the world. I've gotten stuck a couple times, I've had a couple mechanical problems, and I've had just a couple like small things go wrong inside of the van, you know, a cabinet breaks or something like that. So these are the top 10 things that I want to have as a kit to be prepared for when things go wrong. Because even if you know, I stick to major cities, there's still a bunch of country, middle of nowhere in between. There's places where I don't have phone service. There's places where roadside assistance will not go, or I can't get a hold of them. And that's an extra tip right there, is get roadside assistance. It is extremely helpful. I've used it several times. I have it through my insurance company, and it's been like, I think it's $15 a year, and it's gotten me towed a few times now, and it has been incredible. Even if I got a flat tire or something and something was wrong with my spare or something, they come out and help me. So that's been like incredibly helpful. So I just wanted to go over this list real quick because I thought maybe it would help other people too. I don't know. These are all, I usually buy things from Amazon. I have Prime, so I get free 2-day shipping. They can send it to boxes in most major cities, so I can just go and pick them up there, or I can sell them to my my mail forwarding service, Your Best Address, and they can send them to me either way. It's just easiest. They always have the best prices. So with that said, I am a member of the Amazon affiliate program, and these links are all affiliate links. Full disclosure, I will make a small commission on anything you buy using these links within the 24 hours of clicking on them. But with that said, these are all things that I either own or am going to own. And also, full disclosure, this first thing a company actually sent me to review for free. So there's that. Otherwise, this is going to be as unbiased as possible. These are all things that I'm buying or already own. So now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. The first thing is this jump starter. It's a little tiny lithium battery pack. Here's what the thing looks like. Comes in a case. You open it up, and this is the main thing. Comes with an instruction book, a charging cable, and these to jumpstart a battery. Batteries die. People leave their lights on, batteries get old and wear out, and they just will not start your car. If you happen to be out in the middle of nowhere, that's a huge hassle. If there's nobody around to give you a jump, or you just don't want to bother trying to find someone to give you a jump, this is a great way that you can, you know, take care of yourself and ensure you can go. It also has a few USB things on it, so you can charge up a phone if you want to, and it's got a flashlight on it. So I think that's really smart. I have not actually tested this yet, but based off the reviews, it should work great. It's worked for other people, unless you've got like a massive diesel, you know, I mean, like it says it works diesels up to 7 liters, which is huge, and even, you know, this should work for us with V8 vans just fine. Check out the reviews. I mean, all the specs and the pricing is online. Prices change on Amazon all the time, so I'm not allowed to give out a price because I want to stay, you know, a part of their affiliate program. So check online and see what the current prices are. I think it's a great little bit of insurance. So the next thing we got, and these are things for if you get stuck, you should be able to get out with these things. There's all kinds of ways to get stuck, but for most of us with 2-wheel drive vans and RVs, this should be more than enough to get us out of just about anything we get into. So the first thing is these foldable traction mats. These things, I've gotten stuck in the sand twice now, and if I had these, I probably could have gotten out just fine, and if these didn't get me out, the next few things definitely would have. So what these do is when you have limited traction, mud, snow, sand, and your tires are just digging in, these give you a solid grippy thing for your tires to lock onto. So you just unfold them, wedge them under your tires a little bit, and you should be able to walk right out. And they're very affordable. I'm definitely getting these. These could be very beneficial. I love to go to BLM land, and often it's not paved, and sometimes it's dirt roads, and sometimes it's pretty rough dirt roads. So these could definitely, you know, get me out of some sticky situations. I just love to go camping off-grid, and that could definitely help. Next thing is this mini shovel. I don't need a full-size shovel, but I definitely have, there have been many times where I've wanted a shovel. One, for helping to get me unstuck to move dirt from under my tires and under the vehicle. 2, for digging a fire pit. 3, for putting dirt on a fire to make sure it's out completely so I don't start a wildfire. You could also dig holes, you know, to make toilets with, and then cover them back up. There's lots of uses for shovels. They're really nice to have. I don't feel the need for a huge one, but a small one like this would be great. I think this is just the right size. I haven't used it in person, but I think it would be just right. And it looks lightweight too. And the next thing is a come along. These are hand powered winches that you can use if you get stuck and there's something you can hook, you know, up to, like a tree or maybe a giant rock or something. You can use these as a winch to help pull your vehicle out. It could be like incredibly helpful to have one of these things. Now the only thing is they are a cable, so if you're going around a tree, it's gonna cut right into the tree and it might break it. And that's where the next thing comes in handy, which is this tow rope. And this is not only helpful for that situation, you can wrap it around a tree. If you don't have anywhere good to hook up the come along to, you can use this, or even buy 2 of them would even be smarter. You can buy really short ones that are only like a few feet long, and you can wrap it around your frame without damaging anything that way. Also, if there's another vehicle that could possibly tow you out, then you have a rope and you have a way for them to pull you out. That could be really helpful too, because I mean, even if you get stuck somewhere and you find somebody with a big beefy 4-wheel drive vehicle, if they don't have a tow rope, you're screwed. I mean, this thing is very inexpensive, so this could be really, really cheap insurance as well. So that could be really good to have. And you don't really think about needing these things until you get stuck and stranded, and often that's out in the middle of nowhere, so it's really nice to have these things. Next thing here is this NOAA radio. I've got some apps on my phone that I use to keep track of the weather. You know, all over the country in the southwest here, there's wildfires and heavy winds and flash floods. Those can all, you know, make a good day go real bad. And a lot of them, especially flash floods, you can't see them coming. You can be parked somewhere, the sky is completely blue, but somewhere over the mountain range it rains, and if it does, you know, when you're down in a wash or something, that water is going to come roaring like through you, and flash floods are very, very dangerous. So that's good to know. There's tornadoes in the Midwest and the South. Florida actually gets more tornadoes than anywhere else. They're just not as big and powerful as the Midwest, so it doesn't get as much, you know, media attention. All over the South is severe storms. You know, up north there's severe winter storms and stuff. And there's also, you know, a factory could have a chemical spill or something. I'm pretty sure that this thing will tell you about that. You know, anything you need to know about environmental hazards, this thing should be able to alert you. And the cool thing about this is it has a flashlight on it, which could be useful in an emergency. Always have like a really good flashlight. That's one thing I left out of this list that you should add, is a good flashlight, hopefully rechargeable one, USB, so you can charge it in your van and always have full charge. But this also, it has an internal battery, which is 100 milliamp hours, and you can crank it to charge it if it dies, and it has a solar panel on top, and you can charge it USB, so you can charge this thing while you're driving your vehicle and always keep it charged and ready to go. And when you're in an area that's prone to extreme weather, especially in the season you're in or whatever, you can rest a little better knowing that, you know, this thing's gonna go off if there's some crazy weather in the area. You could be prepared, you know. So that's this thing could potentially save your life. Probably won't, but definitely could. I'm absolutely getting one of these. Very cost effective. It took me a long time to find the right one. There's a lot of these things, and it took me a long time to find the right one, and this is the one I settled on. Next thing is a good first aid kit, not just a little, you know, a little thing with a couple band-aids and some burn cream or insect cream or something. You want a good one with everything you need, because if you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere, you know, or even if you get in a car accident, you know, in the city, it's good to have a first aid kit ready with everything you could possibly need. I do not have this one, and I will not be buying this one, though I wish I would have. I have a trauma kit, which includes things from this, plus a little bit extras, which is more for intense things like broken bones, major burns, big cuts, stuff like that. And I also have a little one that's just a basic, you know, band-aids and Neosporin, stuff like that, for just basic stuff. Absolutely recommend a good first aid kit with a lot of stuff in it. And the next one, oh, I got an update coming. Remind me today. The next one is a good tool set. I won't be buying this one either. I just looked around for kind of a basic but fairly comprehensive one that should be able to get most jobs done on a van or a RV or anything like that, both inside and out. And this one seemed to fit the bill. I've got my own tool set that I've built over time, but this one looks like a pretty decent kit here. So I would recommend this one for sure. The next one is, hey, what's up, Evie? The next one is paracord. This is very, very thin rope that is extremely strong, and there's a ton of things you can do with this. It's just endless things you can do with this. I'd totally recommend it. It's cheap. Just get 50 feet, maybe 100 feet, just to have on hand. I think you'll be surprised eventually that that's like, wow, man, I'm really glad I had this rope, because this really, really came in handy. So that's a huge thing. I definitely recommend. And the last but not least is good duct tape. I love the Gorilla brand of duct tape. I had a leak one time on my roof when it was raining, and this did not work very well. I had to dry it. I had to cover it and dry it and stick it down. But in a lot of other situations, this stuff could really, really, really come in handy. It doesn't leave too bad of a residue. It does kind of stink, but I use this stuff all the time. It's really strong. It adheres really, really well, and the residue is very low. It's also weather resistant and sun resistant and everything else, so you can use this outside no problem. If you're looking for something that doesn't need to be as strong and doesn't leave any residue at all for the inside of your vehicle, I recommend gaffer's tape for that. It leaves no residue, very easy to use and remove. Good stuff. So that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to throw these things out here. This is my list. I'm working on buying these things and making sure I have a good kit set up, so when I go off-grid, I don't get stranded somewhere, because that would totally suck. So these things should all help in many, many situations. So if you guys have anything else you think I should add to this list, please let me know. I'm still working on it, but these were just the top 10. I was going over all the situations I've been in that got kind of sketchy and what would help get me out, and these were the things. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time, and love yourself.